Hello and welcome to F.Y.I. Live. I get the pleasure of interviewing today Raziel Arcega, also known in my world as Wonder Woman. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. This is good.
Yeah, hey, and just a correction, folks, and I realized a little too late that we are quote unquote having a late lunch and learn slash dinner lunch and learn. So if you caught that, it was
It's
on
our
purpose
lunner.
and it was planned. There we go. It's
It
a
is our
Leonard
lunner.
learn, right?
Yeah, our
So
lunner.
I wanted to have Rachel come on board. Rachel and I have known each other now for quite a bit of time. We kind of started in the same networking groups and done a lot of great things and projects together. We wanted to really just give business owners an opportunity to really, if you are watching currently right now, feel free to join us on the chat. Paul, welcome to the show. We want to talk today about new ways of doing business events and what is the future of networking and events looks like. I'm going to actually have Rachel talk a little bit about her background, what she does, and then we can jump into the discussion. And folks, if you have any questions, please post them on the chat so we can address some of that as well too. Or if you want to jump in as well too, let us know. Okay, so Rachel, share with folks obviously who you are, your business, and a little bit of your background.
Oh, sure. Thanks again for having me today. And I'm excited to talk about the events. I've been doing promotions and marketing since 2005. And I have been around a lot of the chambers and the multi-ethnic communities, creating different platforms, workshops, training events, mini expos, you name it, in different themes. So it's exciting to have all that. But with our environment right now, it all closed, right? It all went online. It all went into Zoom and other platforms. So it's interesting to see. And I know that in the beginning of the year, I have gone to some of our industry expos and thinking about that, like what will happen to the trade show environment, to the networking environment, if we cannot touch, feel, and see for ourselves, because our industry is five senses. You touch, feel, hear, see. Have people around you. So as I watch and listen to our industry, how they talk about it, we talk about a lot of hybrid networking, which is part online and maybe part in person, obviously with social distancing at this time. But it's very limited. And I know that we are waiting for, again, what are the rules, what are the government regulations that are being put out for the events. And I know some are still being allowed outdoors, even dining. You could do probably mini events outdoors. But right now, I think a lot of online. Surprisingly, I think a lot of businesses have seen traction with doing online events or online networking events, and that has been fun. There's different ways to do that too, different themes in networking, and it could go as big as, I think, over 200 I've seen. I know it could go over 500 people, and it depends on the webinar or an event. So there are ways. I think there's really ways, and I think us as business owners can pivot or find ways to create. Even this type of platform, a lot of the businesses can do it themselves for their clients. And I love this. I love creating this, and we know that videos work really well for your marketing, for your promotions. You could share it. You can invite people. You can do education. You can do it fun. You can do it just casually. And I think we're doing half and half of those, part fun and part education today, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how much?
So,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How much more do you think? Um, I don't think we should wait. I think a lot of people are kind of like in a wait and see mode. I think they could just hop on right now and build an audience online. actually, I also partner with, I advocate for health and wellness. So I partner with some fitness trainers to start doing workouts online. So we'll see how that goes.
No, that's great. And you know what? That's one of the things I also wanted to talk to you about, because I know we've seen a lot of tractions in different areas. I know you and I always are very creative in the way we do things, and we're not folks that are going to sit there and wait and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to look at creative ways of getting the message out there as well too. I know, like what you said, a lot of folks right now are struggling because, number one, they're not used to doing the online platform. Number
Mm-hmm.
two is, if you remember that, a lot of what I kept busy and I've been very blessed to keep busy is because of the technology background and everything that I have for my clients. It's considered an essential service. And then moving folks from the physical environment to the online environment was really and continues to be a huge challenge for a lot of folks. They're still having a hard time adapting to it. I think also the mindset that folks have, of thinking that this is just going to, we're going to go back to regular way of doing things. It's not going to just happen overnight. This is going to be a transition. It's going to take quite a bit of time. And I think that as time continues to go by, people need to realize that when that time comes, a lot of folks are already adapting that hybrid model where they'll work a couple of days, in the office, a couple of days offsite as well. Hey, welcome, David. Thank you for joining us, sir. Appreciate you being here on the show as well. We're talking about the future of doing business. If you have any questions and anything that's in your mind also to help some of the businesses, please put it on the chat as well too. And I appreciate the kind words. Thanks, David, for joining us. Just a side note, David McElwain is one of the kindest individuals I've gotten to know. He was formerly the chair for the Pomona Valley Chamber, and he's involved in a lot of organizations, giving back to the community as well. Got a just an incredible heart. He's definitely somebody I look up to when it comes to giving back with that too. So I just wanted to, kind of share with you who he is as well too. But to talk about this too is how do we really start helping folks change that mindset, right? They have to start thinking specifically. I think one of the hardest hit places right now during this whole lockdown has been restaurants. They've been the ones that have been hit hard the most, right? In the beginning, it was complete chaos because you don't know if they were open, what they were doing. You don't know if curbside was an option. A lot of them had to let go of employees. A lot of them have closed down. Some
Mm-hmm.
are in the barely hanging by a thread. And I think a lot of this is part of not knowing how to go about and deal with this, right? And I'm sure you've come across a lot of that. So how are those folks? How are you helping some of those folks through the promotion aspect of it?
Well, there's plenty. I think if I could mention it, I do work with the Chino Valley Chamber, so we do have what we call our restaurant month this month, just to help out. And we recognize that businesses have gone through a lot of these roller coaster rulings or government, what they want businesses to do, and I feel them. I've visited some of these places, and I'm afraid some of them that I haven't visited, I think they're already closed down. But I see them strive. I see them do a lot of social media as well. So social media has helped them. Um, creating videos, creating partnerships. I think a lot of the partnerships that they have for the delivery service are, helping that. And I think the community themselves, if they work with their community, it helps them. So if people in the community give them a good word of their service, of their food, I think there's still a lot of restaurants that are creating great food. I know some also had feared doing takeout or at the restaurants. I think now's the best time to even eat because I know that they are really being careful how they handle food, how they handle or clean the restaurants, and it's just one of those things that we have to live through. We have to eat somehow. We still have
Right.
to find. I don't think everybody is the type to cook at home 24, I mean, every day, 7 days a week. And I think people still need or want to order out. And I think that that's still an option for businesses to be able to reach out to their clients. Again, I think the best way is to connect with the community, the clients who love them, and just nurture them, and just really find ways to. And for us, doing promotional products, we do have a lot of items that they could do. They could use, signage and anything pretty much with their logo, placemats, napkins, you name it. There's plenty of ways to do that. But again, if they're saving money for their business, there's plenty of ways doing it socially, social media, doing it also word of mouth, really honing in their social media presence, and also getting those testimonials, much more so now than ever, I think. And
Yeah.
just
So,
it doesn't
folks,
connect.
if you're just joining us, I'm sitting here with Raziel Arcega of LNR Promotions. Her website is on the screen here, so make sure that you follow her, get to know a little bit more about what she does. We're talking about the future of networking and events, also new ways of doing business for events. Like we said, I've heard folks talk about that the way we're dealing with life now, it may go on for maybe another year and a half. So I've heard it been extended. That some folks think it may just be a matter of, a couple of months when we get, hopefully a vaccine or something to it. But you hear different stories every day. The narrative changes, so you don't know what to really believe. I think the moral of the story of what we really need to focus on is how we're going to deal with the here and now. How we're going to deal with, let's say that, if we're fortunate, this lasts another couple of months, right? And we get back to doing things normally. But let's just look at the other side of it. So what if this is going to be extended for another year? What if it's going to be extended for another year and a half? So what is, how are folks going to deal with that? And if you're not prepared, I hate to say this, it's just not going to be a good place for you to be at. I think right now it's a perfect opportunity for businesses to be very proactive.
Mhm.
You and I are in very similar environments where you do a lot of the physical promotion and all that. I do a lot of the social media, online marketing as well too. And it's, we've collaborated together on projects like that, and I think would really help out a lot of folks. But
Right.
something that I want to make sure that as we're talking about the future of networking is utilize your context right now. Think about what are the key things, or the 5 key things that are going to help you move forward in the next 6 months, next year and a half, and start putting those safety systems in place so you can deal with whatever's coming your way, and you're not going to be, again, just go, now what do I do? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think
Exactly.
that's important, right?
Exactly. So I know, like, if you had written goals in the beginning of the year, it's probably gone by now. And I agree. The goals that we are setting, it might be 1 month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and just kind of be able to be flexible and see where you can tap. Be creative with your marketing. A lot of phone calls, probably. Just be more personable, and connect. I really think it's just connection. And I think with the online that we are getting accustomed now, it gives us more of a reach. I think that's what I've been hearing with some of the clients that I have, or business owners that I've been working with, that they never realized that online will give them so much more of a reach. Now, even more so, nationwide, globally, you name it, different groups that they connect, that sometimes they haven't even have the opportunity to drive to or fly to. I've done some networking online and met people in the East Coast. You just have to wake up early, but you
Right.
can, you can connect with people that you or haven't had a chance to, or even remotely think about, because you always think you have to drive there or you have to fly there. Now with everything online, it's pretty much sky's the limit. You just have to open your eyes to see. You just have to reach out, think about, get those directories out, do a lot more research online. There's so much potential in the web. Just doing a little bit of research, honing in who your target audience is. So I'm talking for those who want to expand, but for local, as we talked about the local, if it's the restaurants, again, being better in serving your community, finding ways who you can partner with, finding ways how you could give, you know, not so much to give more, because I know that people have certain budgets, but find ways how you can give. You can also give some of your time or some of your talent, even creating cooking shows, like for restaurants, or some kind of like back of the house stories. Share their stories, their personal stories. How are they challenged? Coping? And I think people want to hear those stories too. So there's plenty of material, actually, if you want to really look into it. There's plenty of things that we could talk about, and plenty of things that you have helped out. I think there's still a lot of heart stories that you could share, and
Mhm.
and we could discover. We just have to sit down and talk about that. But I always look at ways and find ways to, what can we do? Where's that opportunity? There's always an opportunity, good or bad. There's always a balance. So if you cannot see it on this side, we'll go on this other side. We'll really find ways. Again, being
Yeah,
resourceful.
one of the comments also David made was that like the folks that they've relied on to take care of their big mastiff dogs when they go on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Their names are Kim and Ashley in Nigeria, who have that service. They've lost nearly all their summer vacation customers. So ways that they're in, I talked about this also about giving back, is that they're helping, with the new flyer, focusing on what they can offer as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So there may be somebody also who's going to be coming on board to hopefully we can give them exposure on the show. And that kind of brings me to why I do the shows on this, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think at the end of the day, if we all really took the mindset of we know we all need to survive as a business. We all need that. There's no
Mm-hmm.
question about that. But it's the approach of how we go about doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we can help someone out, why hold on to that referral? Why hold on to letting somebody know, for example, if I need printing stuff done with you, I don't do that service. So why am I not going to go out of my way to reach out and
Mm-hmm.
talk to somebody regarding your services? And I think if we kind of get into that mindset of really just having that servant heart of servant leadership of helping
Mm-hmm.
other businesses out, I think we're all going to grow together. Period. It may sound like a dream, but I think it can realistically happen. You and I are doing it. We're constantly talking to one another. If there's a client that I may be able to help out, or vice versa. And at the same time, I know that we as business owners, we also as referring folks, we also need to be very careful as to who we're referring to, right? We talked about this before, where
Mm-hmm.
if, for example, if I'm referring, Johnny, who's doing this whatever project in IT, and they have one of the worst personalities dealing with folks, at the end of the day, that referral is not going to go, "Hey, Johnny, you're kind of a jerk." No, they're going to come back to you for referring them, saying, "Why would you send somebody like that to help me out?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell folks when we're going to get into collaborative projects, I know that if you're referring me one of your clients, it's an extension of you. I have to make sure, like I would do regularly, treat them at that level of respect that you treat your clients as well too. You can't have it, both ways too. And I think that's also very important right now. Everybody's trying to be creative. Everybody's trying to create new revenues, new streams of revenue. But in some cases, you have to be really careful as to who you're doing business with. Some of them may not have ever been in whatever industry they're trying to get into, and it's a fly by night thing for them, in which kind of folks also unfortunately lose out on quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that piece of industry. Um, I think it's also important that we connect people, like you said, with certain chambers, certain groups, certain networking groups that they may be able to learn from others. I know that
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about at some point you and I will do our own little business expo or whatever, that we
Mhm,
can
yes.
bring in some different speakers and things like that too.
Mhm.
Um, but what would you say right now is one of the driving factors that folks need to be aware of so they don't fail? And then, for example, like I said, in the next 6 months, in the next year.
For me, I think knowing what their purpose is. I think once you know what your purpose is, it doesn't matter what you do. You're drawn to that purpose, either to serve or to share your talent, share your expertise. There's something within us that we could, that people can still get help from. Um, I've been blessed with a lot of businesses in my circle that are, really a blessing to me, and they bless back either with skills, with their talent, you name it. Um, I think once you have that purpose, it doesn't matter. You're gonna be striving to do more, much more, and be helpful. And I think we just have to be mindful. There's a lot of struggles. Everybody, we all do, but at the same time, I think we we have to have that heart of and still respect other people. That's why LNR stands for love, nurture, respect. So you have to love what you do. You have to nurture your clients. You have to respect everyone. I feel like I still see goodness in people. So when you go about your day, you just have to ask that question: how can I be of service to you? How can I be of service to my clients? How am I be able to serve you so that at the end of the night, you know that you have done well? Um, I think it sounds so preachy, but I think
No, you're right.
I think we forget why we're here, why were we doing, why we started that business. I think sometimes you have to stay away from the problem. I think there's a bigger purpose for anything that we do, and I think once you really connect with that, it really doesn't matter. It will keep you going. It will keep you reminding yourself, who's the next person I need to help? Who's the next person who needs my skills or my service or my expertise? Who can I connect to that person? So it really motivates you to do that next step. And I think we forget, we think so far ahead, like, oh my God, this future, we don't know, but what's that next thing that you could do? And one of my coaches would say that, like, what is the best, when you have that crazy day and you think like, what am I doing here? Maybe I should just fold the business and do nothing. But then he said, what's the very next thing you wanted to do? And then it might be a phone call, it might be an email, and then it starts creating ideas. Oh my goodness, that felt good connecting to that person. And normally, sometimes they have bigger problems than you, and you're like, oh my God, why
Right.
why are you thinking this way? And there's people who really need help, and just reach out. And I think that's what I've been doing for the past couple months, either honing my skills, touching base with people I haven't heard from. And sadly, there are some people that are going through a lot more than normal. And you just have to find, be that beacon of life, be that spark of joy for them. And even if you don't feel like it, I think you deserve to be that spark. So
Yeah.
I think you just have to see the positive in everything. With all these things that are happening, there's plenty of good things that are happening as well. Um, and again, so blessed to be in the community, so blessed to be connected with you, because there's so much more that we see. There's so opportunities online, as you said. We could bring the networking. More. So we could create educational programs more. So we could create networking events. And again, it becomes more exciting to think that way. That we're
Yeah.
doing something. We're doing something. We're moving the needle forward, and not be in despair. Because again, we're here. We're here to help each other. And I think one of my taglines is like, I'm really here to help. So how can I help?
I think that also ties into what we were saying about the new ways of doing business. And that's actually a great point that you brought up, is really how do we do new business, change our mindset, right? Help one another, extend that as well. And I think we start doing that, we start creating more of that, attracting more of that positive environment,
Mm-hmm.
really extending ourselves to helping those that are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we can all rise above from this. But I
Rise
think
together.
we also, yeah, exactly. But we also have to make sure that we put the time and effort. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I think a lot of folks are. I've come across that think, yeah, it'll, things will get better, but as you're waiting that things are going to get better, you're losing out on your business. I mean, there's things that your
Mm-hmm.
business is suffering from, and if you hang on to that without really doing something about it, I hate to say this, but you're going to be left behind. The bus is going to go, and you're
Right.
just going to be playing catch up.
Right.
So looking at the future, what we just said, it's the future is looking like more of a hybrid model
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of businesses and a lot of companies.
Right.
So if you look ahead in the next 6 months to a year, looking at it from that perspective, how am I going to expand or do business in a new way? Looking at a hybrid physical and online environment. That's stuff that definitely you and I can really help out a lot of folks with in the different aspects of that area. And again, you've seen, I put on here too. You have Raziel's website on there. Reach out to her. She's a wealth of information. She's always willing to share ways, in creative ways for you to expand your business.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure she'd be more than happy to guide you guys in the right direction. Same thing. Reach out if you need help with anything regarding the online marketing piece as well too. There's projects that Raziel and I can work together on and create just this cohesive presentation for you guys as well, not only on the physical aspect, but the
Mm-hmm.
online aspect
Yeah.
as well too. So
Yeah.
yeah, and
Welcome.
and I know that we're time flies when you're having fun, man. Every
All
time you and I
right.
talk, we can go on forever, right? So I know
Right.
we're coming to the end of this show, and I want to give this last part is maybe some parting words from you as to what we talked about today, and before we leave the show.
Parting words for me. Again, know your purpose, know what you love. There's plenty of people who need what you have, either your skill, your talent, or even your kind words. So go out and be the light.
Excellent. So, folks, thank you for joining us today. We've had a great short interview today. I know that like I said, we could talk forever on a lot of great subjects, and that's why I love always talking to you. This is great that
Oh,
we get to
thank
do
you.
it online today.
Again, it's an honor
Um,
to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
and you'll be back. I guarantee you that, because we have
Oh,
a lot more great topics for sure that we can discuss. And that's the nice things, folks. If you're joining us, please share the replay out, watch it again. This
mhm,
isn't a show just about selling things. Rachel and I have known Rachel for a long time. She's in the promotional industry as well as the health industry as well. But we always have a great time talking about what's current. How do we apply what we know, what we're seeing out there with trends, and how we can really help businesses who are struggling get to that next level too. So I
mhm.
want to thank you for your time today. Always a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to our next connection and our next topic when we can get together.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, folks, this is Carlos Garcia coming at you from F.Y.I. Live. Thank you for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next, maybe dinner and learn as opposed to lunch and learn for
Right?
sure. So, all right, guys, we'll see you guys soon. Whoops, that was the wrong one.
Ah.